What episode's this?
69.
Whee!
When my dad was 69 in age, I posted a gif of Bill and Ted saying
69 dudes
on his Facebook page, and he was really
Did
he was really annoyed.
No.
Yeah.
So this week, new podcast episode. We're here to talk
Light is
about.
bright.
Huh?
That light's bright.
Is it that one?
It's quite bright.
Too bright?
Too bright. It's fine. It's all right.
Yeah, deal with it. We're going to talk about AI in the photography world, aren't we?
A bit of stuff
I
like
feel
that.
like we've mentioned it enough in previous months, and we've spoke to other people about it here and there. So why not just put an episode together about it?
Okay, fine. Yeah. We were going to ask some questions on YouTube and stuff.
I
weren't
did
we?
have, but
No, on Instagram.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you did it about 12 hours ago.
Yeah, I did it late last night. So.
Well, everyone's got the same opinion, haven't they? We don't
Yeah.
need... Well,
Yeah.
no, they don't. Well, there's two opinions. Should we get in? Should we
Yes
go
or no?
into it?
Yeah, we should, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
on or off. Do we want to talk about anything else in the meantime?
No.
No? Right, okay.
I don't know. Do we
No,
want to
no.
talk about anything else?
I was going to tell you I went to the Fuji store.
Oh,
I'll do that next
No,
week.
yeah,
it's fine.
let's save some content, gripping content for
yeah.
another episode. This one's about AI, so let's do that.
So
Me and Luke aren't actually here at the moment. This is all AI generated.
you can do that. Have you
Can you?
seen like AI? They call it like digital twin, and it was like you can take some photos of yourself and record yourself talking, and then you can write a script, and it'll produce a video of you saying that script. Just record yourself,
Yeah.
doing it. So you don't have to bother, and then it means you can like churn out loads of content to put on social media, I guess. But what I suppose my opinion of it, doing stuff like that, is what's the point unless you did the thing. Like I've seen a lot of stuff. So I think we've kind of jumped a little bit.
Yeah.
But basically, if you were to say, you can only say, you know,
Yes or no?
yay or nay,
Yeah.
yeah, to AI. If you could stop it now, what would you do?
My initial reaction would be to say yes, stop it. But I'm not saying that I'm not someone who A, uses it and B, sees the benefits of it as a tool. But I think in the grand scheme of things, stopping it might be, I don't know, from a world point. Do you know what I mean? Like the Matrix taking over. I can't help but think it's a bad thing in the long run. Maybe not in our lifetimes, but I don't know. Scary to think, isn't it? It's a scary thing, I think, because
Yeah. On the whole, I think it sucks. I think it's not interesting. I think there are things that it can do. Obviously, we're talking about AI in photography. There's lots of other things that it has uses in, like medicine. And like medical devices and stuff like that. And within like...
Yeah, I guess you don't always think about that, do you know what I mean? Because, again, maybe I'm just relating it to how I would use AI in the world that I live in, but then you think about...
So I do see it being... Yeah, because I have two clients who work in medical fields. I do hear about it a lot from their point of view, and there are some interesting things. But that to me is like not necessarily what we think of as AI at the moment when we're all talking about it. That's like a whole nother world. AI being used in firmware for cameras to help improve autofocus and things like that. Brilliant. Like that's fantastic.
But that's been around for...
What, autofocus? Or?
Autofocus and AI features have been around a lot longer than the new boom of AI, if you know what I mean. In terms of...
No, I don't know what you mean.
Well, I'm just thinking like autofocus, for an example, has been around a long time, right?
Yeah.
You could say as long as AI, because it is AI.
It's not AI.
Okay. But
Contrast detection.
Oh, okay.
But no, what I mean is like there is things where they would say we're using AI to improve things like autofocus and modern cameras. I don't think that's AI. I would call that machine learning, and I think that's a whole different thing. I think that AI is, as it is, it's like an intelligence, and it's learning, and it's developing, and it's coming up with, you know, things like ChatGPT does and stuff like that. Whereas like there's a machine learning element, which is almost like a dumb version of it, like where the software that you're using, let's say for the purpose of this, in camera, knows it will kind of better itself.
Yeah.
Which I suppose you could say is suppose it's a type of AI, but it's not quite the same thing. And I think that's fine when it comes to like creating imagery, and creating video. I think that's where the massive worry and the massive danger is. That it's like, I don't want AI to make a photo for me. I don't. It's like,
you don't
great.
need it to.
There's some fun things. We've taken photos of the kids and made them into little AI cartoons, and I think that's really good fun doing stuff like that. But there's always been, go back like 20 years on the internet, that you could do like make me a Simpsons character and things like that, and that's basically that's fun. But then the downside of that, in just the fun aspect of it, is an example. My son asked me to make him a picture of a band, and in that band he wanted different animals playing instruments, like a cartoon.
Yeah.
And so I did it, and then
that.
he was like, it was an armadillo playing the drums, and it came back and it had 3 arms, and he was like, can you get it so it's only obviously got 2 arms? So I did, and it took one of the arms out but put it in somewhere else and removed the cymbals from the drum kit. And you're like, okay, type in,
it's never quite
put this back. And it took so many iterations of it to get it anywhere near what it's like. It looks cool, and then you go, hang on, that's weird, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And I know, if you go back just 2 years, when there was a thing called DALL-E, that's one of the AI image generators, people were just making stupid shit out of it, and it looked ridiculous. It was like a fever dream. And now it's like photo, realistic things. So yeah, the technology will come on, and hands will look good, and all this stuff in 2 years' time from now will obviously be worlds away from where we are now. So it's a bit silly to be like, it can't do hands, it can't do this, it can't do that, because very, very quickly it will learn. But
if you think how fast it's grown
you kind
in
of
such a short amount of time, you can see where it's going to go, which is kind of what I visualise, because when I think about AI as a whole, or when we're talking about it, or whatever it might be, I'm always thinking about it being perfect, because it will get to that point of being near perfect.
But at the moment, the fun stuff, I'm like, to what end? Okay, it's interesting for a bit, like, look, I can make this. But we
keep seeing waves of it, don't we? Like of social media, or
people
Reels,
making
TikToks
little
and stuff,
on like LinkedIn, there was people making little like toy versions of themselves in packaging, and it's like, okay, cool, but right now times that by like 1 million people. 10 million people have all done that. My problem with it is the knock-on effect to the environmental impact of AI is huge. To this thing that no one really asked for, but everyone's like having lots of fun doing it. And I honestly, every time I'm like washing out my tins and plastics and putting all the recycling in, number one, I think, I'm really glad Katy Perry got to go to space that time. And number two, I'm thinking, I'm doing all this stuff, and like someone next door is just generating bloody like do this, and just it uses up so much power. It really it's like a whole nother conversation. But I have a problem with it from that point of view. I think the biggest problem is going to be in the world of like politics and world leaders saying,
stuff like that.
Trump, all the millions of things that came out that he said before he was president, and then in between, and all the things he's done during, it'll just be like, nah, it's AI, didn't say it. And so many people will use that as a defense for doing evil,
and even worse than
horrible
that, people
stuff.
will actually believe Trump.
Yeah, well, people do already. Or people just close their ears to it, don't they? But like, there are lots of people in the world who do pretty horrendous things, and they'll just say it's not real. It'll
be so hard to prove that wrong as well. So
there's always software being created to detect
AI.
AI, but can it keep up? I don't know. I hope so.
Will that grow as fast as the AI will grow, or will
Yeah,
AI be able
and-
to overwrite that without us even knowing? Do you know what I mean? It'll get so intelligent that maybe it will do stuff on its own because it will see the, like you see in movies, like to an extent. Do you know what I mean? But just going back to what you said, sorry, about, I just want to go back to you saying you used some form of AI to generate a photo of,
The cartoon.
of a band and whatever. You could do that without AI. You could do it in Photoshop. You could do it in whatever. Yeah. So you going back to what you said about AI being something that we kind of never really asked for, but now here it is. You could edit a photo. You could enhance an image or drop things into it to make it. You could put, turn a band into animals and have your. You could do that on Photoshop or in other programs.
Yeah, but not easily.
No, not easily.
Yeah.
Granted, that's not my point. So this is where, I'm not afraid to admit it, I use AI sporadically throughout my kind of working life. Do you know what I mean? Within it, so there's huge benefits to it. There's in terms of just speed alone to help do something, it can be used as a powerful tool, but past that, it goes into a scary area, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really handy for like a lot of people saying, "Oh, it will take jobs away from people," and undoubtedly will. But there are things like I'll write something and then be like, "Well, that's rubbish," and I'll in the work that I do, I might have to come up with some copy for something.
Yeah.
And so I'll use it to tweak things or give me an idea for something, and I'm like, well, that's fine, because all that hasn't taken a job away from anyone. I wasn't going to a copywriter and saying, can you tidy this stuff up for me?
If anything, that's helped you, right?
I was just spending 3 hours doing it because it's not something I'm very good at. So now it will take me 5 minutes, and that's really good. We were doing something the other day, weren't we, where we were recording a podcast for someone, and they were talking about, like it can take notes for you during minutes of meetings, and then it can summarize those, and it can send, so it's not taking jobs away from people. It's just helping with it's helping you in your day-to-day workflow. And I'm like, no, that's a secretary. That's what I was thinking when I was like, that is someone's job. That's part of Now, whether or not
it hasn't affected you directly, but it has affected someone else. But that's life, right? We evolve, we change, we grow as humans, and technology all put together. Everything will change. Change is inevitable, right?
So, but it is just like widening the gap between rich and poor people. I think that will be a massive knock-on effect of it. But like coming back to it in terms of photography, I kind of shut my ears and eyes to it. So I'm just not interested. And I know, if you go back, when was photography invented? 150 years ago or something, roughly. I think you could I bet there was a lot of like painters who were like, you can never capture the essence of light in the same way because it's not. And obviously now, painting and photography exist side by side. So I think there will be.
But do you think you'll ever notice the difference? Do you think AI will be good enough to replicate something so you wouldn't be able to tell? I.e., for example, you think of digital photos and analog photography. No matter what you do with a digital photo, it won't quite look the same as an analog photo, right? That's why, as a collection, we love analog photos, because it cannot be replicated. You can get close to it, give it a similar look, but will AI be able to do that? Will it be able to achieve those kind of things that we've been wanting?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I saw a thing, this was quite a while ago, about someone who made an AI camera, and it didn't have a lens. It had GPS tracking built into it, and say you pick it up, you go to where you want to take a picture, you would hold the camera up, take a photo, and using Google Street View and stuff like that, it would generate an image
exactly where you are
of where you were. Now, again, interesting. What is the point? Why? Okay, it's like you can be like, oh yeah, that's really interesting, and then
what you
like, and then what? But it's not a photo of something that happened. So now the thing is, you can take like an image and create a short video clip out of it. But again, I'm like, yeah, but you didn't film a video clip. So it's not a video clip, it's an AI and that could be useful for stock. If you're creating a video, a corporate video, and they've said, like, we really like this image, and we'd actually, it's somebody standing on a diving board, and we'd really like it to be, we can't find a video clip that we want to go into this like advert we're producing. You could be like, well, I can get AI to make that person jump into the water,
or I could pay £1,000 to get a production team there and actually film it.
But so for someone at my level, I would never do that.
Yeah,
but
of course.
For somebody who's making an advert for, I don't know, Cadbury's or whatever, they would do that, and so that is taking jobs and work away from people. And I suppose that's where it's definitely more of a danger.
Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, you're never going to be able to replicate. Sorry, AI will never take away work from photographers who do things like weddings and events and corporate videography and stuff like that, because how's that going to work?
It won't replace them, but again, it can be used as a tool to, like features that we already have in Photoshop and Lightroom and stuff.
There'll be a way of going, right, I'm the marketing manager for, ABC. No, that's a real company,
Cadbury's.
Isn't it? Cadbury's. And I want to make a little, I want to make like a 2-minute little promotional piece just to be sent around internally. I don't know, whatever people who have jobs do. And they'll go, right, Jamie, you're going to be in the videos. Let me just take your photo. Right, you're going to be in the video. Right, now.
And then it'll compress it.
And then I'll write up a script, and this is what I want each person to say. I'll go around giving it a few clips of the office and people working at their desk, and you dump all that stuff in there, and it will generate a promo video. What you've, 90 seconds, this person saying this, person saying this. That's totally going to exist, I'm sure.
But is that, again, that's more of a tool, because that's using AI as part of a process to achieve an end goal.
Yeah.
Where what we're kind of saying is, will AI eventually get to a level where you don't need a process? You can just get the end result that you want. Do you know what I mean?
Still got to feed stuff into it.
Yeah, of course.
So with any like data, it's an in-out process. You only get as good as what you put in. You only get something. If you put shit in, you get shit out. That's true for any like data-driven process. So you'd still have to, I suppose, like do the thing in. But then the problem that I've always got with stuff that's AI at the moment, and I don't see how this is necessarily going to change such a huge amount. Is it, okay, let's say it generates that 90-second video for you, and you're like, well, I like that clip, but I don't like that. And actually it's edited, the way you cut from that to that needs to change. And then I think
could you not prompt that to do it eventually?
Well, but I think this is where it's going to fall flat, is that people's understanding and knowledge and skill set isn't going to match with what it can necessarily do. So they're still going to do it and then go, oh, it's not what I want. But you know what? We should have just got a videographer in to at least create the AI thing for us, because they'll know how to. Now maybe it will download it all as like the separate stems of videos, and they can put that into a program like Premiere or whatever and edit it within that. Who knows? But when you're suddenly like watching back the final edit and you're like, there's someone walking behind the camera and they've got 3 legs, like, or in front of behind the interviewer, and it's like, oh, right, okay, it's still. And again, I always come back to, why do you want to do that? It's not real. You didn't make a real thing, and if you're this
is what we say, don't we? So we've spoke about it enough, or oftenly enough, to think.
Oftenly,
yeah. What did I say last week on the video? I said something else. Extraordinary customer service.
Satisfaction. Yeah.
I didn't realise till I watched it back, and even at the time you
I said satisfaction. You went, yeah.
Anyway, I can't even remember what I was going to say now. Oh yeah, it will get to a point where so many people are going to use AI in some regards, but I'll break that down into two ways, if you like. The first way is that you will use AI as a tool, or a professional in an industry will use AI in a tool, but they'll already know about these things through updates and you know, things coming in that are new that they will naturally be drawn to. Us in the photography world, it's, you know, you could say, you know, when Adobe puts out an update, or, you know, whatever it might be, we're in the right place to know of those things that are going to happen, and we can decide if we want to use it or not, right? But as a business, again, talking about the photography world, but if a business employs us to do some photography or video work or whatever it might be, will they want to promote that it's AI eventually, or will they stop using us eventually because they can generate whatever results they think they want?
Yeah.
Automatically. However, going back to what you said about having a professional in that world, sometimes you employ someone because you trust their ability to be able to perform something. So if ABC Cameras Limited wanted to employ me, they don't necessarily care if I'm going to use AI or not to help produce the results. But what I'm saying is will I eventually get to a point where ABC Cameras never reach out to me because they can use AI? I think, yes, that will happen, maybe for a short period of time, or maybe work will be lost or opportunities will not be there because of results that can be AI generated. However, I think it will get to a point then where companies who use photographers or videographers or whatever, production of some kind, will then want to start promoting the fact that it's no longer AI. So companies will use AI, and then they'll go, well, actually, we want to promote that we're not using AI. We're supporting other people. And also we're proud to put our content together as a creative company. And I always think that's an interesting one to think about, because I think it will get to a point where, as photographers, regardless if you're in a professional world or not, you'll have to identify and tell someone that this is no longer a generated piece of artwork, and then it will grow to the point where people are like, well, that's amazing that you've got an original. The word original will almost mean something different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And on that, I've also read predictions of people who are saying they're like that exact thing. There'll be this real influx of people using it for different things,
because it'll get easier and easier to use, right?
Yeah, and with varying degrees of success in terms of like the results. And then there'll be this tipping point where people go, do you know what, I miss people,
real life.
and it will result in more people going, do you know what, I want to go to an in-person event, and I want to meet other people, and I want to see this. And, you know, like when we've done that, we've done a job for a company for a couple of years where we go and take headshots. Now, could they, 93% club, like, and we take these headshots at an event, so people who might not have access or, you know, the funds to get a professional headshot taken, they're provided with that during this event. Now, do you think they could be like, well, we don't actually need that anymore because it's so easy for someone to go, snap, right, make me a professional looking headshot? But I've seen those.
But also, do they care enough? Because that's quite an quite an interesting point. So if we've got a client that we do regular work for doing headshots, again, this is just a hypothetical story. If they get to a point where, you know, because we care about the work that we provide to a client more than the client will realise, right? Because you're proud of the work that you send across, you want it to be the best of the best. But if they don't really care, if it's better than, say, an iPhone for argument's sake, they're gonna be impressed with whatever work is produced. So they don't really care about the importance of having someone real to bring you those results. They just think it's, you know, when you get a client that just, oh, it's your camera that produces a good photo, or it's the work. We haven't got that, and we haven't got the time, so we're going to employ you to come in and do these headshots just for argument's sake. But if they can generate in AI and they just don't really care about the results, we could see right through that and be like, well, that's an AI generated photo. But they're like, well, yeah, so what?
The AI headshot results that I've seen are terrible.
Oh yeah. I remember you posting something on LinkedIn about
that's just the thing. That's all the point I was trying to get to. That yes, you can do it, and they're rubbish, and I can see them getting better, obviously. Because again, go back a couple of years and they were they were nothing. But it's still, I still don't think it will get to. There's something about it. There's something in the eyes. There's something in whatever, and it's
the soul is missing.
But I bet somebody could go, I can show you 2 photos and you would not be able to tell me which one is AI generated. And you can be like, yeah, but you've probably spent ages doing prompt after prompt after prompt to refine it to, and then yeah, okay, for sure. But I think for the general person using it, the results aren't going to be as good as that. There's a guy I follow on Instagram.
It would take the life out of it as well, wouldn't it? Because if I used ChatGPT for argument's sake to generate all the content that I was to put out on, say, social media, it will get to a point where it no longer sounds like me. Like you need, like, it's lifeless. It's a lifeless bit of. It might be the most detailed bit of information you can get. Might be the most everything in this photo that you've ever wanted has been generated, but there's no life to it because it's missing that sense of reality, which people can see. Do you know what I mean? So
it's just it's like we mentioned the Matrix, which is it does make me think about it. Like you kind of at the point where get AI to make these videos and these headshots and this and then get it to do your job for you. You might as well be like, put me in the suit. Shave my body, plug me in. I was just thought, what's the point? Just get AI to run my whole life for me. Like I don't want that. So I don't want any of it. Like really, it's not.
But why don't you want it?
Because it's boring.
Just to play devil's advocate. Yeah, of course it is.
I just think there's nothing about it that I think is interesting or good.
Well, I sent you that video on WhatsApp. I think that's quite an interesting thing to talk about. So basically I used ChatGPT to, I asked ChatGPT a question, what is the future of AI in photography in 100 words or less? And it said, AI is set to revolutionise photography by automating, editing, enhancing image quality, and even generating realistic photos from text prompts. It will speed up workflows, assist with creative direction, and make professional quality results more accessible. However, the line between real and AI-generated images will blur, raising questions around authenticity and copyright. While traditional photography won't disappear, AI will increasingly become a powerful tool, helping creators push boundaries rather than replace them. I know we kind of spoke about that. But don't you think it's ironic, how I said to you earlier, it's ironic that I've used AI to help me with something, now I'm kind of almost slagging it off, but also it's almost sympathetic towards you as a human.
Yeah, it's sort of saying, don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
But I when I think of it in terms of, like a tool for editing and whatever, I kind of, it's a bit like, sure, okay, well, I know that when Photoshop first was invented, people were like, what? No, you should be doing all of that manually in a dark room. People are going to lose skills there, but those skills haven't been lost because you can still learn to do all that stuff in a dark room, and using Photoshop well is a massive skill to have. So
and it's also developed into new processes and new things that have been invented through something that was once not wanted, that has come in, and it's given new branches of life to other areas to explore, isn't it?
There'll be AI editing software that will become like a skill to have to use. This is what I was about to say before you didn't interrupt me again. There's a guy I follow on Instagram called Stomper, and he creates these AI videos, and they're like horrifying. Them, but not like because it's shit AI. They're like nightmares. It's brilliant, and I suppose he would say, like, it's a skill. What he's doing, although he's just typing in prompts, he knows exactly what he needs to say to get out of it what he wants, and to the point that he's had loads of videos with like millions and millions of views on TikTok and Instagram, and he doesn't make any money from it. I'm sure he'd like to. So he sold a prompt pack. For $20, you could buy a list of prompts, a collection of prompts that he's used to create some of his videos. And I think in a day he made like $2,000. Loads of people were like, I was going to buy it and like ummed about it, and I didn't in the end. But it's still up there to buy, as far as I know. And it's just really interesting that you're like, do you know what? That's it's a skill to be able to create those videos, 100%. And I think using it for that kind of thing is quite cool. And there'll definitely become a time where starts to be used in like Hollywood, and it starts to be used in
Probably
for
already has.
Netflix. Yeah, well, I know that there are a couple of films that have used it for
No, I
like
know what you mean,
small
to, like,
things,
the next level of
but
that
it'll
production.
and everyone will be completely up in arms about it until, as is the way with things, people go, whatever.
Yeah.
And I heard something ages ago from in an interview with a film executive who said what he wasn't saying this is necessarily a good thing, but he was saying what studios are working towards is you go, do you know what I really fancy watching tonight? A rom-com with Seth Rogan and Audrey Hepburn, and it's set in the 1970s, and you know, it's directed by Wes Anderson, and Netflix goes, okay, and you go off and make your dinner and come back, and it's generated,
Netflix gave itself.
and it's generated a 90-minute film for you, and you sit down and watch it. But that to me is ultimate not interested.
No, but that also scares me that is on the horizon of being a reality. It's not like, oh, I wonder what the world will be like in 20 years, or 20 years, why not? That's a reality. That will happen, and it'll get better.
I think it will happen, and I think loads of people will be like, this is bullshit, and then a lot of those people will see the result and they'll go, it's actually quite good. But I don't want to watch Seth Rogan in a film that Seth Rogan hasn't actually been in, because it's not creating a new film, it's mimicking previous performances and going that this is what you like, and that might be fine, because a lot of people, Jack Black, every film he's in, he's Jack Black. He's Jack Black in that film. He's Jack Black in Rock School. He's Jack Black in Minecraft. He's and that's what you want from him. Like with The Rock, that's what you want. Jason Statham, just do what you do. But then you have other actors who don't do that, and they probably won't license their rights to be used for all this stuff that is on the horizon. But if you also the creativity, so if you look at, let's use Seth Rogan as an example, the 40-year-old virgin, he's in that, isn't he? He's in Pineapple Express, and that's kind of old school. That's what Seth Rogan was doing. But if you look at what he's done more recently with The Studio and Platonic, was it called? That is Seth Rogan as you've never seen him before. Like it's really interesting. It's so good, and he's so funny. But it's him. It's not him. He's not a stoner in it. In fact, they actually say, like, I can't believe you're going to smoke a joint, right? Because it's like something he never does, and it's just a world away while still being very him. But only
he's true to himself.
I think, but only a human with a creative mind could come up with that. And I suppose you could say, well, fucking give it 10 years. And then I'm like,
a creative human mind.
Why do we want robots doing this for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then also, if you're watching this in the future, robots, we bow down to our new robot overlords and welcome you with open arms. Got anything else to add?
Well, I was going to try and relate it more about photography in the sense of that world, if you know what I mean. How is it going to develop like what's next to come with AI in the photography world, but not from a business point, just from is AI going to be put into cameras?
Is anyone ever going to want to go, do you know what, I'd love to go out and take some photos, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to write black and white street photography picture taken on the 23rd of June in London. Just make an image for me to post. I don't think anyone wants that, because people want to pick up their camera and they want to go out and they want to shoot. They want to take a photo.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to using a camera as well, you're creative as a photographer. It doesn't matter if you think you're a creative person or not. You are creative by picking up that camera, and people don't want to lose that. But then at the same time, I've got no problem with saying that, especially in like my professional standpoint, there's times where I'm using some kind of AI to help me achieve whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do think it can be used as a tool. It can be used as a guide to, and especially like you said, going back to like your kind of level or budget that you have for something. it can be used as a tool, but should it be the one and only thing you use? Absolutely not.
Yeah, should you use it as like a should it be like look,
Should you be ashamed to use it?
Cool. And then I don't know, you might be taking a photo at a wedding and you're like, oh no, the bride's got flip-flops on. Oh well, it doesn't matter, I'll just get AI to sort it out. Yeah, I don't know, I suppose it might be helpful.
I'm just trying to think of how I've used it before, but really I only use it every now and then.
I've tried using it like generative fill and generative expand, and I know it can do a lot, but again, I've not had like great results from it.
Well, do you so if you've done generated fill before, it takes a while for it to get something that you're kind of happy with to be able to put out in the world, however that looks, right? But you know when you take a great photo or film a nice shot, again, I'm trying to relate it specifically about photography, right? You're buzzing when you look at the back of your camera screen or you get the photo developed. You're excited by everything. Definitely not yawning how boring I am. But you're excited,
I did that as you said. You're excited.
Yeah. But if I use generative fill, for argument's sake, I remember specifically using it on one image, but I didn't get that excitement or buzz. If anything, I was excited that it finally filled in what I needed to.
Makes you go,
yeah. But you never get that. I'm trying to relate it to something else, but for me, it'd be skateboarding. If I land a trick, I'm either pissed off because it's taken me so long and I finally landed it, or I'm buzzing because I've just landed it. But either way, it's a sense of it's a dopamine hit. It's a sense of excitement that you get within you, and it makes everything worthwhile. But you don't have that with AI.
I think that maybe it was purely like speculation, but people who are really, really into creating AI images, and if you go looking for it, there are a lot of like accounts on Instagram, and I see it all the time on LinkedIn, and they
do you ever see it on Reddit and stuff, because you spend a bit of time on Reddit and stuff, don't you?
I suppose it's there, but people are like really, really excited about it, and my feeling is these are people who haven't discovered their creative outlet, so they're like, oh look, I can make a picture. And it's the same feeling you get when you first buy a camera and you start taking photos and you're like, oh man, I'm so good at this. And it's you're not, but you feel like you are, and it's so exciting. So they're just like, oh, I found this way I can create stuff, and it's that's not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah, if it makes people happy, but I'm not interested in like videos that are made purely from a prompt. And it's like because
but that AI had to get that information from somewhere to do it, right? So it has to have
it's a whole other thing, isn't it?
About
like the rights that these AI models have been trained on. I don't know.
Go into it well. So in conclusion then, AI in photography.
No. Oh, but in everything.
In everything. Well, again, I know it's bad, but I never really thought about like medical advancements and things like that. So obviously that's a positive thing to do going forward. But in terms of the camera world, or movies, films, whatever it might be, what's your final conclusion? What's your final thought?
Go suck a fuck, AI.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I really want to say no, but we do.
I was just waiting for you.
And cut.
Yeah.
We are a company called Front, and that's why we're doing.
Oh, we're doing the advert now.
So now we're going to do our print of the week, and it's a lovely one this week.
Print of the week.
And why are we doing this? Because we are Front, and we have a platform. What is a website where you can make? Shut up. Gallery and sell your photos as prints. Put it better than that.
Okay.
Right, well done. Right, so
today's ordering a print.
No,
but
today's print of the week.
Print of the week
is this week's print of the week is called Father and Son in the Bowl, and it is by Charlie Woodward.
Pretty sure it's Venice Beach.
It is, because I've looked at his other.
Okay.
So I thought, do you know what? I recognise this photo, and I don't recognise this exact photo, but I've literally last week I sent out a print that had been purchased
Through one of Charlie's.
of something else.
Oh, nice.
And so I recognised like the style, and it was a skateboarding photo and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just a really cool picture. It's got everything that a good picture
Should have.
perhaps needs in terms of like form, structure, composition, colours. Yeah, like the layering from the back to the front, and from the
harsh
front
lighting.
to the back. What was that song? From the front to the back, that's where I was at. You know, the Artful Dodger do it like that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know
Craig
who
David all over your
boink.
Yeah.
I do actually love Craig
DJ
David,
is
I'll be
all up
honest.
to you.
Well, I can't say I listened to him recently, but 7 Days was one of the greatest albums ever.
Select.
We eat wine, yeah.
Oh, God, I hate
Anyway,
that song.
next week we'll be exclusively covering Craig David songs from the 1990s and early
Was that
2000s.
Craig David and the Artful Dodger?
I think it was Craig David, I'm pretty sure. I was
Yeah,
just
of
thinking
course it
Bo
was,
Selector.
because the crowd say Bo Selector.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, father and son in a bowl. Yeah, it's a really nice photo. I really love the contrast between the ramp and you know the shininess of the floor or surface or whatever it is. And I like the atmosphere, and it's just a nice moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool. I like the description of it about how like people aren't really allowed on scooters on there, but
I've seen some crazy videos of Venice Beach where like people are on scooters and a little skater will just come up and lob their scooter away.
Really?
And it's a whole thing there. I don't really know why, but lovely photo, £20. Link in the description.
yeah,
Go buy it. It's a nice one.
cheap.
Yeah. Anyway, this podcast where
We've done that.
no, but we haven't bought the print. I want to buy a print. I want to show these wonderful people how easy it is to buy a print. But also, it's a very special print, and I know we spoke about it last week. It was our print of the week last week. I can't remember the name of it from memory. Viva Palestina, I think it was called. He's going to order a print from front. You'll see it live as it happens, and let's see how quick and easy it is to buy a print from a. That's terrible. But the print he's going to buy is Viva Palestina, which was the print of the week from last week. Who was the photographer again?
Fraser Kerr.
Fraser Kerr was the photographer. And all the proceeds from this print will be going to
The Medical Aid for Palestine charity.
Medical Aid for Palestine charity. So that's his cut and our cut as well. So all proceeds will go towards that
Right,
charity.
anyway, shut up. So look, yeah, I think I'm doing a screen record. It's very easy. So I'm going to put this up on the screen, am I?
Mm-hmm. Have
Okay.
you gone through it from scratch, from like literally?
I've just got the image. I've gone, put it in my car.
No, but
What?
just before you do that, just because I haven't seen what you've done, I want it to be from opening up Google Chrome or Safari or something.
Why?
Typing in, just to show
Oh,
how long.
no, what?
Would you not think?
No, because how are you going to do... You can't search for a user, can you?
Oh
You
shit!
should
Yeah.
be pointing up
Sorry. Yeah.
God, you're annoying.
Okay. Can you go back and do that bit again then? Because you can put the recording over what we've already said.
Honestly, I was doing absolutely fine.
Okay.
Until
Sorry.
you interrupted
Yeah,
me.
but now
I'm
you'll
just
make me
gonna
look like a
carry
twat.
on. I'm just going to carry on. Fucking hell. I was going to carry on doing this.
So
and I'll-
it's only because I care, mate. It's only because I care. I want it to look good.
Card. ClearPay. Klarna. Can you not pay with Apple Pay? Jesus Christ. Who set this up?
I thought we had Apple Pay.
Yeah, I thought we did. Oh, yeah, you have.
Oh. I was just thinking. I was like, is it only a mobile thing? But I was like, no, that doesn't make sense.
There you go.
Can't wait to not send Luke half the money for that.
I used our business account
Oh.
to pay for it, so don't worry. Okay, that was worth it.
Anyway, that's how simple it is. That's how simple it is to support a photographer on front. And if you are a photographer and you haven't got a front gallery yet, why not? It's free.
Do you want to talk about anything else?
No.